Hello and welcome to Lantern Lane Stories. Tonight's story is Hachiko, the faithful dog of Shibuya Station. Good evening, little one. Tonight we travel to a great big city in Japan. It is called Tokyo. It is full of trains, lanterns, and kind hearts. Our story begins one chilly morning in 1924. A small straw basket sat on a wooden train seat. Inside the basket was a fluffy white puppy. He was an Akita dog from Snowy Odate, far up north. He smelled like cedar wood and warm milk. The train carried him gently south, all the way to Tokyo. A kind man waited on the platform. He wore a long coat and a gentleman's hat. His name was Professor Hitsuburo Ueno. He taught farming at Tokyo Imperial University. The professor opened the basket. The puppy sneezed a tiny sneeze. "Well, hello there," the professor whispered. "You are my 8th little puppy. I shall call you Hachi. In our language, that means 8. Hachi blinked his bright black eyes. The professor smelled of ink and pipe tobacco. Right then, the little puppy decided he loved this man very much. The professor's house had wooden floors that creaked like old songs. A paper lantern hung by the front door, glowing soft and orange. Hachi grew quickly. By summer, his back reached the professor's knee. By autumn, his tail curled in a soft, fluffy spiral. Every morning, the professor put on his coat. He picked up a brown leather bag. "Off to teach, Hachi," he would say. "Wait for me at the station tonight." Hachi knew the word station. His tail thumped happily on the floor. Each evening, when the sky turned peach, Hachi trotted out the front gate. He padded down a narrow lane. He passed the bakery, the willow tree, and a small green mailbox. The lane smelled of grilled fish and warm rice. Children played hopscotch under the lanterns. Then came the bright lights of Shibuya Station. Steam rose like white silk into the sky. Hachi sat beside the wooden ticket gate. He folded his paws. He listened to the trains hiss in, and the trains hiss out. Click, 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 familiar shoes on the pavement. "Hachi, there you are, my good boy." Hachi sprang up like a soft white spring. The professor laughed and rubbed his ears. They walked home together, the dog's tail bobbing like a tiny lantern. For 1 year and 5 months, this was their world. One warm morning in May, the last cherry blossoms had drifted down. Petals lay like pink snow in the lane. The professor tied his shoes a little slower than usual. He scratched behind a soft white ear. "Be a good boy, Hachi," he said gently. "I will see you tonight, as always." The gate clicked behind him. The date was the 21st of May, 1925. At the university, the professor sat down in a quiet office. He suddenly felt very tired. His heart, dear listener, was older than he was. It needed to rest, and so it did. The professor went somewhere very far away where dogs cannot follow, but Hachi did not yet know this. When the lanterns flickered on, Hachi padded down the lane as always. He found his usual place by the gate. He waited very politely. The sky turned pink, then violet, then deep velvet blue. The familiar coat did not appear. The brown leather bag did not appear. Hachi tilted his head, perhaps on the next train. He stayed until the station lamps blinked on, one by one. Then, slowly, he padded home. The next evening, Hachi went back, and the evening after that, and the one after that. The professor's wife, Yiko, hugged Hachi tightly. Her eyes were soft and tired. "Dear Hachi," she whispered, "you must live nearer the station now." She found him a new home with a kind gardener named Kobayashi-san. He lived only a short walk from the trains. Kobayashi-san fed Hachi rice and broth. He brushed the thick white coat each morning. But every evening, when the lamps began to glow, Hachi headed toward Shibuya. Years passed. Cherry blossoms bloomed and fell. Snow came and melted. Cicadas sang and slept. The white fur on Hachi's muzzle turned a soft silver. His old joints grew a little creaky. Yet at the same hour, the same dog sat at the same gate, polite as ever. The station workers came to know him. They saved him a dry corner when it rained. Old ladies brought him pieces of grilled chicken. Tiny children gave him careful little bows. "That is the waiting dog," people whispered. "He has been here for years and years." One day in 1932, a gentle man named Saito stopped to look at him. Saito studied Japan's native dogs. He listened carefully to the station master's story. Then he wrote it all down. His article appeared in the Asahi Shimbun newspaper. The title was kind. It said, "The Story of a Dear Old Dog." All across Japan, people read it. Mothers read it aloud to children. Fathers read it on trains. "Have you heard about the dog at Shibuya?" they asked, eyes shining. Soon, travelers came from very far away just to meet him. They left him rice balls and small bows. The people of Shibuya wanted to thank him properly. In 1934, they made a bronze statue. The statue showed Hachi sitting up tall, ears perked, head tilted like a question. On the day they unveiled it, Hachi himself trotted up beside the bronze. He sniffed the cool bronze nose, then he sat down next to himself. "Yes," he seemed to say, "that looks about right." The crowd laughed softly. A photographer caught the moment, and we still keep that picture today. Many seasons later, when Hachi was very old, he too went on a long, gentle journey. He went perhaps to find his professor. Some journeys are too quiet for words, but the bronze statue stayed, and it is still there tonight. If you ever visit Tokyo, little one, you can find him at Shibuya Station. He sits beside the world's busiest crossing, ears alert, head held high. People meet their friends right in front of him. They call the spot Hachi-mae, which means in front of Hachi. Children pat his bronze paws. Travelers leave him fresh flowers and gentle thanks. And on the campus where Professor Ueno once taught, there is a second statue made many years later. In this one, Hachi is leaping joyfully up into the professor's open arms. They are together at last, in bronze, forever and forever. So that is our true story. A small white puppy from Odate, a kind professor with a leather bag, a station full of steam, and a faithful dog whose love did not forget. Now snuggle deep under your soft blanket. The lanterns of Shibuya have dimmed. The last trains have slowed to a hush. Cool spring air drifts across the bronze dog's quiet shoulders. And so, Tokyo also slowly, slowly fell asleep. Good night.